Good morning to you, my friend, and welcome back to the Morning Minute Meditation. I hope that your weekend went very well and that the Lord's blessings were upon you and your house of worship on yesterday. We had a great time at Galilee BC Church, and the Lord met with us as we preached from the Word of God and ministered to the congregation. I have been in a series over the last couple of weeks at our church in regard to the subject of faith. In the New Testament, when Jesus is dealing with faith, there are a couple of things that are uniquely interesting. When Jesus is commending great faith, he only does it with two different people. He does it with a Roman centurion who is concerned about his dying servant, and then with a Syrophoenician woman whose child is sick. In these two instances, when God looks at them and reports their faith to the congregation, he calls their faith great faith. Ironically enough, these two individuals were simply Gentile people. They were not Jewish people. Every time Jesus is dealing with Jewish people, and particularly that of his disciples, he asks them why they have so little faith or why they have no faith at all. In the book of Mark, chapter number 4, as Jesus is making the crossing to deal with the Galilean maniac, he encounters a storm with his disciples. The ship is full, and the disciples respond to Jesus by asking this very silly question, "Carest thou not that we perish?" Jesus stands upon the bow of the ship, calms the raging of the sea. They are wondering at the fact that he has with authority commanded the wind and wave, and it has obeyed him. And Jesus looks at them in Mark 4 and verse 40, and he asks a couple of questions. He says, "Why are you so fearful? And how is it that you have no faith?" There is a direct correlation between the difference between fear and faith. Fear and faith are the antithesis of each other. They are direct opposites to one another. And if you are living in fear, you are living faithless. And if you are living in full faith, then you are living without fear. The adventure seeker Bear Grylls once made this statement about those two things. He said, "Fear and faith will both sail into your harbor, but only allow faith to drop anchor." I think that was a pretty wise statement. It is said by John Emmons in his book in regard to this illustration about fear and faith. He said that an African impala is quite unique. He said this animal can run extremely fast, and with one jump can jump 10 feet high in the air and cover a distance of 30 feet. However, when you place it in an enclosure in a zoo, a solid 3-foot wall will keep this magnificent animal enclosed. And the answer to the question is, why will such a small wall keep something with such great potential enclosed? Because an impala will not jump to a place where he cannot see where his feet are going to land. In other words, if he does not know what awaits him when he jumps, he will not jump and he will not run. And therefore, that illustration really represents most of us. Most of us are unwilling to go into situations because we cannot see how it's going to end up and how we're going to land. This is living in fear and not in faith. Harry Emerson Fosdick made this statement about fear and faith. He said, "Fear imprisons, faith liberates. Fear paralyzes, faith empowers. Fear disheartens, faith encourages. Fear sickens, faith heals. Fear makes useless, but faith makes serviceable." Hey, think on these things today and live in faith, not in fear. Have a great day, my friend.